Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. The importance of fathers. First, let me say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, the fathers, the stepfathers, the mentors, the father figures out there, all men who are, through their example, through their words, sometimes through their tough love, are raising either their biological children, their stepchildren, or their spiritual children. All the men who are stepping up. All the men who are stepping up. Now, one of the things I've seen, there's always something for the mothers. There's always something for the mothers. In fact, I've joked that mothers, they get the hook up on Mother's Day. They be going to the nice restaurant, get those flowers. Men, we get those power tools which suggest we should be working. We might get a pair of underwear or something and all the kids sign their name to the card. Oh, man. But fathers are important. I'm going to tell you what. One of the greatest thing for me is not everything I'm doing online and books and, educational accomplishments. Is being a father to two young men. It really is. And just being there for them and just knowing my importance for them. In fact, many people know that I had a stroke back in October. One of the main things that helped me to heal was just knowing I had to be there for my sons. I had to be there. In fact, let me share a story. You remember I said I had lost a lot of weight because I couldn't eat. I had dysphagia. But unfortunately, I still couldn't eat on my son's birthday, and he was upset. He was upset, and that really pushed me to go even harder to be able to eat again. And as you can see, that hasn't been an issue. I no longer have that G-tube. So it's, the son in this case gave back to his father, but that's because their father was so important to them. And that's everybody, and that's not just young men, young women. I've been in the relationship biz and talking with men and women since the late 90s. And there are a lot of women who had trouble in their relationships because they had trouble with their fathers. That's how important. Now you get some people out here thinking, oh, they don't need fathers, oh yeah, and all of that. No. You might not need the biological father, but they need a spiritual father. They need a mentor. They need a male in their lives. Fathers are very important. Like if you see a woman, like for example with relationships, if a woman had an outstanding father who was there for her, who could really give her life advice, she's less likely to become dogged. She's less likely to have trouble with men because automatically she's going to look for somebody like her father if he was outstanding. And I've seen it all the time. Women who usually have trouble with men usually have trouble with their fathers. That's really the first imprint. So, it's deep on many levels. Fathers keep order, You could say, and look, I've worked in the criminal justice system. A lot of those young men in the criminal justice system didn't have fathers, a whole lot of them, or fathers who were active in their lives, And it means something, even being a spiritual father. I remember I've had a couple times, I've had young men who would be considered thug types cry because I told them some stuff. I talked to them and I would talk to them straight. I didn't give them that like soft, like, oh, you should do it. I was like, what the heck you doing? And they appreciated it. And, I'm going to tell you what, this is a day, really, fathers need to be celebrated every day. And let me be fair, mothers need to be celebrated every day. But, I'm talking about the fathers right now. Fathers need to be celebrated. There's a lot of order that men keep in a household, in a community, whatever. They will teach their children, their male and female children, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, how to really make it in life. It's our nature. It's our nature to know what's going on in the world. That's what we're going. And if we say, you know, because we're protecting them, we see ahead. So we will tell our children what they need to do, what I need to do. And sometimes it gotta be tough love, but it's needed. It's needed. Indeed, a bigger subject, and maybe a subject for another day, children really need both. And I could break it down. I could break it down on a spiritual level why they need both. But today we'll focus on the men. And the main thing, like I say, the main thing for men is to tell their children or their spiritual children. You know, it could be, it could be a guy in the neighborhood and there's a lot of fathers who aren't there. And everybody's looking towards this guy to do something. In fact, I've known plenty of men who've done that for young children who weren't theirs. And they weren't involved with the moms or anything. These weren't step parents. And let me say something about that. You get a lot of stuff, a lot of guys who will say, don't be a stepfather, don't be a stepfather. I'll tell you what, and I don't care who says anything against this. If a man steps up and raises and does what he can to raise another man's child, he should not be looked down upon. He should not be looked down upon. That's a heroic. To go in there and raise another man's child, to be that father figure for that child, oh, that's a lot. They need to be respected. They need to be respected. And many women need to respect them. The children need to respect them. Society needs to respect them because that means a lot. And you have some men out there, they will do that because it's in them to raise children. You know, teachers, male teachers. There's a lot of talk about needing more male teachers. Many of them are father figures, you know, many of them. And, it could be a neighbor, it could be anybody. It could be coaches. You know, you have a lot of young men especially. You know, they don't run into a father figure until they playing some type of little league ball or something, you know, but that's important. That is still important. They're a father figure. A father figure. It's just that simple. So it's very important. So on this day, I would tell everybody to celebrate the men in your life, not just your biological father if he was there, but your stepfather, your father figure. Reach out to him and say, hey, happy Father's Day. Any man that mentors children, happy Father's Day. Any teacher out there, happy Father's Day. Guy in the neighborhood who just say, look, I'm gonna take this guy and I'm gonna show him something. Happy Father's Day. Now I'm gonna end that with a story. I'm gonna end this with a story when I was young. Now, my parents had divorced, but coming up, I still had my grandfather, step-grandfather, biological grandfather, my uncle, men in the neighborhood. But I remember this is when I was 7 years old. And me, my mother, and sister, we were living out in Southeast DC. We were living there. I look back at it, it was a mother-in-law suite. It was a side house to this guy who had did some work for my grandmother, Mr. Green. Now I remember I was trying to ride my bike. I was trying to ride my bike without training wheels, right? And I remember, I'm out in the street trying to ride it. Now, this guy, he come out, he had a nice suit on. I always remember it as Green because that was his name, Mr. Green. I don't think that was the color of the suit. Whatever, it was a nice suit, nice shiny shoes, because you know how those old school guys used to roll. When they hooked up. And I never forget. This guy got a full suit on, nice shoes. I remember he saw I was trying to ride. He just walked out, grabbed me by the neck, and he said, run, boy, ride, boy. He was riding. He was in a full sprint right next to me. He was in a full sprint holding up my neck. He said, ride. Boom. And I was going crazy. I even had people come out and say, hey, I can ride my bike now. And he just went on about it. He was like, yeah. And he just went out about his business. He got in his old school Cadillac and went on about his business. Yes. Yes. Rest in peace, Mr. Green. But I always remember that. That's the importance of fathers and father figures, okay? So anyway, that's all I have for today, y'all. I want y'all to have a happy, especially happy Father's Day for all the fathers out there, all the men who have stepped up, father figures, and everybody, all right? So, y'all have a great day today. Peace and blessings.